You're listening to It's All in the Cards podcast, a horror fiction podcast where all questions are welcome, but you may not like the answers. Some material here may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello. How can I help you today?
I don't know. I've been in a bit of a reading slump lately, and I don't really know what I want.
Well, what do you usually enjoy?
That's the problem. I don't enjoy what I used to. Maybe I've just grown as a person since I established my reading style. Oh, sorry, that was probably more than you wanted to know.
Usually that would be true, but not when I'm trying to pair people with a book. So, what's your norm?
Usually bright, happy settings with everyday problems, like Hallmark movies.
And you seem tired of that now.
I think so.
Okay, so what do you want to venture into?
Darkness, of course. Why do you think I came here? Oh, I didn't mean to...
It's fine, my friend. So let's change your happy setting to a Victorian setting, and your everyday into a spooky problem. Do you like damsels in distress?
Not anymore. I want a heroine who could save herself. But still would like some canine companions if possible.
Victorian setting, spooky problems, and dogs? Can't go wrong with S.H. Cooper's Inheriting Her Ghosts.
Oh, sounds like something I might get into.
Only one way to find out. I'll show you where my copies are. Inheritance often comes with strings attached, but rarely are they as tangled as those hanging over High Hearth. When Eudora Fellows learns she's the sole heir of her estranged great-aunt's seaside manor, she believes it will be the peaceful escape she's longed for. What awaits, however, is a dark legacy shrouded in half a century of secrets, and it doesn't take long before Eudora realizes she's not the only one to call High Hearth home. Inheriting Her Ghosts by S.H. Cooper is a darkly gothic, chillingly haunting tale for the ages. You can purchase it at Amazon.com, link in the show notes.
Hello, Miss Jade. Do you have a minute? I need your services.
I always have time for you, Miss Beth. Beth is the head of the book club that meets in my lounge area every Tuesday night. For the most part, I try to ignore them, tell them I'm too busy or that month's book's genre is not my cup of tea. So far, I've managed to dodge them every time I've wanted. The one time I joined them was when they happened to pick up the same smutty vampire books I read. But between that one book meeting and overhearing Miss Beth every Tuesday, I've learned an interesting detail about her, one that I help her with when she needs it. Sam pops her head out from behind a bookshelf.
Is there something I can help with?
Yes. You can stand at the front desk in case any customers come in while I help Miss Beth here.
How are you helping her?
My, you are an inquisitive young student, aren't you? Jade, what do you think?
I shrug. Sam already has wind of my other abilities and continues to hound me to teach them to her. I haven't actively shown her the trick I use to help Beth, though. I wonder if she would even catch it. That's entirely up to you, Miss Beth.
Is she learning this particular service?
She hasn't even seen this particular service.
Oh, do you want her to?
Depends. Will a quickie work, or do you need a thorough cleansing?
Oh, just a crystal should do. It's not too bad right now. I just don't want to let it get bad.
Sam gives me the biggest puppy eyes she can muster. It's a disgusting show of innocence that I cannot repel. Alright, Sam. I need you to use the stepladder, and on the top shelf at the far end of the wall, get the blue quartz down. Use the mittens hanging on the wall. Do not touch it barehanded or let it touch any bare skin.
Okay, will do.
Sam rushes around while Miss Beth makes small talk.
She seems to be an enthusiastic one. How'd you manage to find her?
She found me. You think I'm out looking for students?
Well, maybe if you were, you'd have a bit more business.
What's the book this month?
This month's theme is horror classics, so the club voted on Dracula.
Surprised that it wasn't an October theme.
Oh, October's theme is horror contemporary. Some of the gals brought up the fact that we didn't have much variety in the book club, so I'm trying to circulate through more genres.
Jade? There are 2 blue quartz up here.
No, one is quartz, one is calcite. Quartz is on the right.
Got it.
More genres, huh? You finally throwing in some occult books?
Actually, that is December's theme, though we haven't voted yet on which book. Which book? We hope you'll join us for that one. Maybe even nominate some books.
I'll be thinking about it in the meantime. Let me know when it's time to vote.
Will do.
Sam returns to us, quartz in mittened hand.
What's so dangerous about this thing? Is it coated with boric acid or something?
Watch and learn. Miss Beth, you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Beth holds her hands out to Sam.
You can give it to me now, hun.
Sam throws a glance at me. I nod. She knows the risks. Sam eases the crystal into Beth's waiting palms. Once the mittens are clear, and Beth is the only thing touching the crystal begins to absorb all of the bad energy in her. In seconds, Beth is cleansed and the crystal is full. So full that the blue hue of the quartz darkens ever so slightly. Only a practiced eye would have noticed that, or someone that has a natural gift with energy. Beth hands the crystal to me, along with cash, to pay for the service.
It's like a deep muscle massage. It hurts so good.
Happy to help. Just let me know when you need this or more.
You know I will. Thanks, Jade. I better get ready for book club now.
Beth heads to the back, as Sam pulls the mittens off and tosses them down on the counter.
What was that?
You tell me. She takes my challenge to heart.
The crystal took something from her. Something bad.
Are you guessing, or do you think that's exactly what happened?
That's what it feels like. I don't know how else to describe it.
Maybe this kid does have some natural talent for energy, but I refuse to be the one to teach her. Still, my curiosity gets the better of me. Is that what made you want to start studying tarot and magic? Those feelings you have no explanation for?
Something like that. The question is, why doesn't Beth just carry it like the rest of us? What's so bad in her life that she needs it purged from her body instead of recycled into healing energy?
This kid is too much like me, always wanting more information than she needs. Miss Beth here has a photographic memory, which allows her to hang on to all her memories for a longer period than most people. It's very easy for her to dredge up bad memories, and because of this, it's hard for her to let go of things. Her bitterness, jealousy, rage, she controls very well. But to control that amount for long periods of time can lead to an outburst. I've never seen one of Miss Beth's outbursts, but she's told me about them. When she first came to me, she was on the verge of one, but now she knows her signs. I trust her to come to me before things get out of hand. Sam looks at the quartz.
So, what do you do with that?
I keep it somewhere safe until I can cleanse the crystal. Sometimes I use moon water, sometimes the sun, but this crystal can release that energy the same way it takes it, so I'm careful not to just leave it laying by the window.
Got it.
A woman walks in, giving me the excuse I need to skirt any more of Sam's questions. One of these days, that girl is going to end up down the wrong trail of questions, and she's not going to like what I have to say. Customer, go help Miss Beth set up for the club. If this is someone you can help with, then I'll call you. I turn to the woman at the door and put on my professional smile. Hello, what can I help you with today? She doesn't waste a moment. This woman, shorter than me, clutches her purse against her chest as she approaches me. She tucks her wavy black curls behind her ear. Her nervousness vibrates the air between us. This doesn't bode well for my morning.
Please, you've got to help me. I think something terrible has happened to my baby.
Are you an avid country music listener? Join me, Miss Helen, and producer Kyle on the Texas Toast podcast, where we talk with some of country music's biggest stars, like Parker McCollum, Josh Abbott, and Pat Green, as well as my favorite part, new upcoming performers and songwriters like Dylan Gossett and Braxton Keith. We learn all about their journeys into music and what makes them tick, along with never-before-heard stories about the making of their songs. Join us every Tuesday and Friday wherever you get your podcasts, and you might just learn about your new favorite artists.
Well, that's a new one. Did you already call the police? She shakes her head.
No, you don't understand. The baby is healthy, just something seems off about him. Things that I can't explain through medicine. Things that seem otherworldly.
I don't usually ask, but something told me I should. What's your name?
Camilla Wilkes. My son's name is Josiah.
Did you already ask your pediatrician to help you?
No, like I said, he's healthy. It's nothing that the doctor would look into.
Ma'am, if the baby is no longer acting like himself, it could be a sign of regression. I'm already pissed at this woman. I'd bet money that I do this reading, and it's going to turn up that there is something wrong medically with the child, and she should have gone to the doctor all along instead of to me. She must have been raised in a very superstitious household to come to me first. That, or there's an off chance she's right. The furious stare she's given me makes me wonder if, for once, I'm wrong.
I did not think I would come here and be dismissed. If you won't help me, then I have no one.
Ma'am, I am more than happy to help you. I'm just concerned that my help won't be what you need.
I understand, but please, hear me out.
Let's move to my reading room. We walk past Sam and Miss Beth. Sam stares at me, hoping I'd offer this reading to her. No way in hell am I dragging her into this mess, so I shake my head at her. She pouts for a moment, but then wipes it from her face to smile at Miss Beth and continue helping her. I'm still on the fence about this bond I have with this girl. Seeing so much of myself in Sam is both a blessing and a curse. It's going to bite me in the ass at some point, I just know it. Still, it's been nice to have her here. Finally back to my reading room after Charles and his ilk decided to torch the place. To be fair, I'm sure he didn't bother telling his lackeys they may still be harmed, even with one piece of my ward removed. Maybe his magician didn't know either. That or they didn't care enough. Still, the room caught fire quickly. The painters couldn't match the original color of the room perfectly, but I find this red to be soothing. I motion to Camilla to enter, keeping an eye on the new strands of vervain as she passes through. Her nervousness might be hiding something else, though I doubt it, but I can never be too careful. Exactly what question do you have for me today? The woman sits stiffly on the edge of the seat, white-knuckling her purse.
I think my child is not my child. I think someone or something took mine and left me a replacement.
I fight to keep my face blank. You think your child is actually a changeling? She nods.
It's the only explanation.
I want to argue that point, but from the desperate look on her face, I can tell that's a bad idea. Okay, before I give the reading, let's start from the beginning. When did you first suspect your child was taken?
It was about 3 months ago. My son, Josiah, just turned a year old. He was born with the biggest, cutest dimples and a head full of thick, dark hair. His smile and laugh were enough to chase away the stress of staying up all night nursing him, or dealing with his crying fits that just couldn't be remedied. Watching him grow has been the best days of my life. But soon after he turned 1, I started noticing different changes. Changes I thought at first were still just part of his development. But the longer they went on, the more and more I wondered if something else was happening. The smallest thing was his hair. It was the first thing I noticed. I know baby's eyes and hair color can absolutely change, and his dad was blonde, so his hair fading from black to a dirty blonde wasn't that big of a flag to me. But then I noticed his crying. His crying is different. It's not necessarily the intensity of the cry. Obviously, that changes with the urgency he feels, but the pattern of his breath, the type of wailing, it was just different, deeper, angrier. Then the dreams started. Nightmares of something coming and taking away my baby. In the dream, I'd be holding him or watching him sleep in his crib, and then I would blink and he'd be gone. His crying would echo all around me, but no matter how hard I looked, I couldn't find him. Beneath his crying, I would hear the hum of a woman trying to soothe him. Then both would stop and I'd be alone. My baby lost to me. I always wake up in tears after these dreams, and I run to check to make sure Josiah is still with me. I pick him up and hold him and never want to let him go. That's when I noticed that when I hold him, he smells different. He doesn't smell like himself. I remembered changelings from fairy tales. For so long, I tried to rationalize all my fears. But with every new day, I'm more convinced Josiah is not my Josiah. Please, can you help me? Can you find out what's going on with my son?
The whole time she's talking, this woman strikes me as genuine. She doesn't sound like someone grasping at straws. She sounds sure of herself. Usually that's an indication of their intentions and what's really going on. But the air still buzzes, and I'm unsure of the true nature of what she's feeling. But having dealt with those teens a couple of weeks ago, I'm hesitant to use my extra abilities here. Well, let's see what the cards have to say. I flip the first card, and a flitter of energy crawls up my fingertips, cold, as if I just dipped my hands in ice. It's the 5 of Cups. My heart sinks. I really don't want this woman to be right. I just dealt with that damn Dybbuk. I don't need the annoyance of a changeling. 5 of Cups can represent the grief you feel, or loss. The woman furrows her brows.
Does that mean my suspicions are right?
Let's not jump to conclusions yet. Let's keep going and get a full picture here. I flip the next card. It's the 7 of Cups. Deception. The cold energy creeps up my arms as confusion sets in and sends my heart fluttering. I think this will be one of the few times I pull all the cards before I interpret them for the client. That deception may be coming from her, especially since I can't get a read on her. Ace of Cups. It suggests a new relationship. The Empress, the symbol of fertility and motherhood. The Moon. Disillusionment, fear, harsh reality. With every flip of the card, that cold sensation creeps closer in, bringing dread and a taste of grief along with it. Shit. What the hell is going on? I stare at the cards, piecing together the picture they're trying to paint for me. I have to tread carefully here. This woman is already distraught. The wrong wording will just set her even deeper on that path. Do you have just the one child you're worried about?
Yes. He is my only child.
Shit. Are you sure there isn't anything else you need to tell me? Something else that could help? It's her turn to look confused as she shakes her head.
No. I've told you everything I know. Why? What do the cards tell you?
Before I tell you, I'd like to try something else. Something that may help make sense of what the cards are showing me. I hold my hand out to her. If you please, I need your hand. The woman crosses herself and mutters a prayer, but lifts her hands to me anyway. I take a deep breath before taking her hand. I spread my magic wide around her and embrace what she has to show me. I'm cast into the darkness, a cold, frozen darkness. This is a rare sensation for me. It only occurs when the person I'm trying to read knows how to keep me from doing it, though I've never had one fully immerse me like she has. I shiver as I wander through it, looking for a light, a door, something to help me unlock what I'm looking for. But there's nothing. The darkness begins to press in on me, a coldness that reaches my bones and cocoons me until I gasp. Then I hear a voice. I hear a mother murmuring to a giggling baby. It's faint, but I follow the sound. I follow it until I smash my face into solid darkness, a wall of black that muffles the mother and child. It's Camilla and Josiah, I know it. The cold burns my fingertips and toes as I get closer to the truth of what's going on. I pound and run my hands over the solid wall of darkness, and then my fingers find a groove. I follow the grooves, hoping for a clue how to tear the wall down or other helpful information. The grooves are words. Words I am familiar with and, in any other context, would not make me shiver more than I already am. Roselawn. As I realize what the words are, the sound stops. For a moment, I think it's all I'm going to get, until I hear crying, not of the baby, but Camilla. The words are my way through the wall, but it's not time to break through yet. Not if I'm right. I pull myself out of her memories. My mind settles back into my warm skin after being in that frozen grief. I really have to be careful in how I speak now. Where's Josiah now?
He's at daycare. I was going to pick him up after this. Do you need to see him?
That wasn't my initial intention, but after she asks, something tells me to change my mind. Yes, I need to see Josiah, but I also need to show you something as well. If you can pick him up and meet me at the Family Faith Church in 30 minutes, we can get the answers you need. I look for a sign in her eyes that the name rings a bell, reminds her of something. but she gives no indication of it. Instead, sadness sweeps in.
Why do we need the church? Will they have to help us return the changeling and find my son?
Camilla, please, I need you to trust me. I place my hand on hers, pushing some calming energy into her. But as guarded and worked up as she is, I don't know if it will help. I can't not try, though. Please, I'm trying to help you get the answers you seek. I'm still not quite sure it's a changeling, but if you can meet me, I can show you the way to get the answer. She nods her head, fighting back tears.
Okay. I will go get him right now. Thank you, Miss Jade.
I will see you in a bit. I walk with her to the front. As soon as she's out the door, I write down the 3 things that the wall showed me. I scribble down the other information I need to leave with Sam. It doesn't take long for her to leave the book club group to ask me what happened. Before she gets a word out, though, I fling what I wrote down at her. Get on this website and narrow your search down to the week and 3 weeks after. Focus on the babies.
Wait, Jade?
Remember how the other day you did exactly as I asked without questioning it?
Yeah?
Good. Do this while the book club is still going on. I've got to go, but once you have the search, text me the link. After the book club is done, lock up. I take my spare store key off my keychain and hold it out to her. You can either keep this until tomorrow or toss it in the Dropbox. She stares at the key like I just gave her the Holy Grail.
Does this mean...
You're unofficially an employee for now. I've got to go, but I need that search done now.
Okay, I'm totally not leaving until you get back, and I won't let you down.
It's not me you would be letting down, kid. Text me as soon as you have it. Camilla steps out of her car as I pull into the church parking lot. She opens the back door to get Josiah out. With no text from Sam yet, I haven't figured out which way I want to approach this, but I do know we have to go to Roselawn. I stamp a smile on my face as I approach her. She swings Josiah up in her arms and on her hip. He's a chunky baby. With so many rolls, even I can't resist. I lean down to get eye level with him. Hi, Josiah. I'm Jade. How are you today? He looks at me like he should. Curious, unknowing but interested. I think he likes my necklace the most as it shines in the light of the setting sun. Welp, that's one theory out of the running. Camilla, he's beautiful. She folds her smiling lips.
You should see...
She looks at the baby as if afraid to mention she knows the truth. I nod to confirm I won't say anything either. Shall we?
It doesn't look like anyone is here.
No, we aren't going to the church. We need to take a walk. Do you have a stroller for him? She smiles.
I never leave home without one.
She pops up the trunk and pulls out a small stroller. I expected a heavy-duty, bells and whistles stroller. Camilla looks like that type of mom. My thoughts must show on my face because she laughs.
This is my emergency stroller I always keep. When I know we are going on an outing, I've got a bigger one with storage compartments and a small battery-operated fan. We haven't had many outings lately.
I'm going to lose my nerve if she keeps talking about it. I already feel my eyes burning. Well, once you've got him strapped in, we can be on our way. It takes no time to get him in, even with him fussing. But once she hands him some puffy-looking snacks, he's content.
Where are we going?
It's right here on the curve of the street. It's no secret what's there, but at this point, I need to prep her and myself for the road ahead.
But that's a cemetery.
Roselawn, yes.
Why do we need to go there?
I said I needed to show you something. It's there. She slows her steps, but continues moving.
Do you think that's where...
Please, Camilla. I know this is hard, but I need you to trust me. I said that showing you would be better than telling you. Let's hurry. We cross the threshold into Roselawn Cemetery and continue walking the path. The green grass stands on the verge of needing to be mowed, and I try to ignore the broken couch thrown in the thicket of trees on the far side of the cemetery. How anyone can dishonor the resting place of the dead, I'll never know. Before I left, I looked up a map of the cemetery so I would know exactly where to look. The closer we come to the spot, the more the dread and grief creeps in. But I have to do this. She has to know. As we draw near, I steal a glance at her, hoping to see some light bulb clicking in her head, but still nothing. This is not going to be easy. But the truth is never easy, is it? The truth is always hard on someone, either you or the force against you. But please, let the truth be enough. I stop and stare down at the small headstone before us. It takes Camilla a moment to realize what we're staring at, and then she gasps. The headstone says Josiah Wilkes.
What is this? What kind of joke are you playing?
It's no joke, Camilla. It's the truth. The truth you've buried so far into yourself that you forgot. She points to the baby in the stroller.
But he was here. He was here before this changeling came and stole him away. Where's my Josiah? Where is he?
I clench my jaw and realize the truth by itself is not enough to push that wall down. I grab her by both wrists and wrap her in my magic again. Camilla, look. This time I know my way through the darkness. Slivers of light crack through the wall. The truth has weakened it, but not brought it down. I throw all my power at the wall, and it gives, drowning me in a sea of light, the giggling and the murmuring loud. I see Camilla put Josiah, the real Josiah, with darker hair and even darker eyes, in his crib for the night. And then I see Camilla coming to wake him up the next morning, but his tiny body is still as she nudges and picks him up. He's cold to the touch. She wails. Oh God, her wailing. She holds him tight against her chest as she falls against the wall and cries. Her grief hits me, and I'm drowning in the cold burn of it. Frozen in the wake, I can't breathe, I can't move. I can only watch. And then it's silent again. No more giggles, no more laughs, no more coos, no more cuddles. Nothing. Camilla moves through her life in a daze, aware but uncaring. When coworkers manage to make her laugh, it's gone as quickly as it came. As she isolates herself from everyone, a fog sets in over her head and heart until a giggle pulls Camilla out of her daze. A baby that looks a lot like Josiah, with no one else around his stroller. He must be Josiah, right? And so, she grabs the stroller and heads to the car to take who she thinks is her baby home. I pull out of her memories, gasping from the cold grip of grief. Grief may be one of the most powerful things I've ever encountered. Yes, love is strong, but love isn't what cripples you. It's the grief of that love that does you in. Camilla drops to her knees. She begins rocking as she wails, just like she did when she found Josiah. But this time I can't just move forward in the memories. Grief in the present is way worse, and I'm the one who brought it upon her. I can't leave her alone in this. I kneel in front of her and hug her. She falls into my body but gives me no other reaction. Her wailing is 10 times worse, vibrating against my chest as we walk back and forth. Even shielding as hard as I can, her grief touches me. I almost want to eat it, but I don't. Grief alone is so heavy and thick that even if I can get it down, I would be full for weeks. But she needs this grief more than I do. She needs to remember. She pulls away from me, her wailing winding down to hyperventilating and sniffles. She crawls over the grave, stretching out her body as if prone in it herself. Her hand rests at the base of his headstone. Beneath his name is a Dr. Seuss quote. But it all turns out all right, you see, and I go back to being me. The baby fusses behind us, and Camilla raises her head, as if she's just remembering there's a baby there. Wide-eyed, she turns to me, tears threatening again, but this time for a different reason.
What have I done?
Nothing that can't be undone. She sits up but doesn't go to the baby. Does some part of her still want him to be her Josiah? And she doesn't trust herself not to fall into that lie again? I remembered to check my phone. Sam stayed true to her word and found what I needed. She texted me a screenshot of the missing baby posters. There are 3 that fit the timeline I gave her, 2 of which are borderline calls on identifying which our stolen baby is. But there's no way in hell we are going to be wrong. I reach out to the babe himself to find which set of parents is his. Once I figure it out, I stand. We can still do the right thing, Camilla. I won't leave you alone in this. I offer my hand to her. After seconds of staring and sniffling, she takes it. I push the stroller with one hand messily through the grass as I wrap my other arm around Camilla and help her to the car. I take mine, but I don't know the first thing about unhooking and hooking in car seats. I barely understand the 4-point harness to strap the baby in. I get us back to Rogers Avenue and follow it to Mazard. Southbound, I glance at Camilla every once in a while. Her body trembles, and not from any cold that can touch us from the outside. There are no words. There's nothing I can say to make anything better. I just have to help her through what must be done. It's dark by the time we get to the fire department. Though I know someone is always on duty, I see no one outside. It's now or never. Camilla, we have to give him back. She nods, but shuts her eyes tightly, as if she can't bear to do it. Shit. My eyes burn again, and this time I don't think I can stop myself from crying. Do you want to say goodbye? She buries her face in her hands and silently sobs again. I take that as a no, and quickly unbuckle to do what I came here to do. I grab the diaper bag and unstrap the boy. He fell asleep on the way over, so I'm careful not to wake him as I lift him from the car seat. I shut the door behind me and make my walk toward the fire department.
Wait!
God or goddess, please don't let her make this harder than it already is. She sniffles as she approaches, gazing down at the baby in my arms.
Do you know his real name?
Charlie. Charlie Downs. She strokes Charlie's cheek and kisses his forehead.
Goodbye, Charlie.
I make the trek to the safe haven baby box built into the side of the fire department. Setting the diaper bag on the sidewalk, I lay Charlie in the box. The alert is immediate, not only to the fire department but the hospital and authorities. I use a diaper and marker to write a note, letting them know who this baby is. Hopefully the parents stayed in the area. Camilla's back in the car as I make my way to the driver's seat. I flip a Yui and get us back to the church.
Thank you.
I'm going to give you the number of someone to call tomorrow, someone that can help you make sense of everything.
You helped me.
I woke you up. I'm not equipped to help you function with it.
I could have gone my whole life in ignorant bliss with Charlie.
No, you couldn't have. You already knew. Deep down, you knew. That's why you came to me.
You're right. I hate you, and thank you for that.
I don't have a good response to that, so I let the silence fill the car. Almost 2 decades of reading for people, this is my hardest to see through. But I've done it. Now if I can just get us both home and face tomorrow, that's the real test. Are you okay to drive yourself home?
Yes.
I don't trust her words, but thankfully I don't have to. Her emotions are an open book compared to before, now that her wall is down. She's not suicidal, but that grief still lingers. It probably will hang with her the rest of her life. I hand her the business card of a psychiatrist I trust. Call them tomorrow. If you don't, I'll know. You don't want me checking up on you.
Thanks.
I open the car door, but she grabs my arm.
Is it possible for me to forget again? Do you think I'll...
Still another baby? Her whole body flinches at the phrase. Good. Remember this feeling right now, and never let go. Between that and calling that number, you'll be fine. I watch her leave before I slide down the side of my car and cry. It's not my grief, but I've been keeping my shit together all night for her. It's time I let it out. Yeah, it drains me, but I don't have much left to begin with. I'll have to use a crystal once I get home. I'd go out to the bars and find some fresh energy, but I know Sam won't leave until I'm back. The lights are on in the store, but the sign reads closed. Either she's taking her new status seriously, or she's curious to know what happened. Or both. Probably both. I unlock the front door and step inside, the sound of the TV greeting me before Sam does. She's slumped over in a chair, snoring, until I let the front door slam shut behind me. She jolts awake and gets to her feet.
Hey Jade, how'd everything go?
When no one dies, it's a good night.
Did my search results get to you in time?
Yes, you helped greatly tonight and I appreciate it, but now you need to get home.
Well, That's the thing. In order to stay late here, I had to tell my fam that I was spending the night with a friend.
I know where this is going. You didn't have to stay late. You could have locked up after the book club left.
I wanted to make sure you made it home.
That snips my anger in too. Is she really concerned about me, or just looking for excuses to pry? Well, I'm home, so now what are you going to do?
I was hoping I could just crash here until tomorrow.
Go sleep in your car if you're too tired to drive home.
Are you nuts? You have any clue what kind of crazies walk around Garrison?
Lock the doors and keep the windows up. You'll be fine.
Come on, Jade.
I finally give you some more responsibility around here, and your knee-jerk reaction is to force me to room you for the night?
I can just sleep in the store. I can be another line of defense if someone tries to break in.
There's plenty of defenses already for that. You'd be more likely to get hurt.
I'm not just some dumb kid, you know. I can take care of myself.
That's what every dumb kid says before they get in over their head and wind up... Sam screams and I jump back as a blur of flesh and tattered clothes lands between us. Smoke wafts off the body, and I look up in time to see a patch of smoke slowly dissipate into nothing. So, just like I thought, the summoner I encountered weeks ago is most likely behind the killings that have been occurring. This is different, though. This time they're sending me a message. Either they're coming for me next, or telling me to stay out of it. Either way, they're going to get a response from me that they will not like. I inspect the body, or really, I should say bodies, as I notice 2 left hands.
Is that?
Sam, if you plan to stick around, I'm afraid a downside around here is getting used to dead bodies.
No, I mean, I know they're dead, but that looks like...
Shit. Cass and Eric.
Hi, listeners. Wow, what an episode, huh? I cannot imagine the pain Camilla is going through, but thanks to Jade, everything turned out all right. Charlie's home, Camilla remembers the full truth, but of course, nothing can stay good for long, not for our witch. Bodies in the store, and they're of 2 people we know all too well. What's Jade going to do after this? I think we all have a pretty good idea. This episode of It's All in the Cards podcast was written by Ashley McAnelly. Theme music for this episode was composed by TheArsonist and produced by Scott Thomas, featuring the voice talents of Ashley McAnelly, Sarah Ruth Thomas, Nichole Goodnight, and Erin Lillis. We would love to give a shout out to our newest Patreon subscribers, Brat Queen, Gregory Hansen, Byron Veerling, and Nolan Reinhardt. If you too would like to support the show, you can join our Patreon and get ad-free episodes, early access, and exclusive bonus content as the season rolls on. To find out more about our podcast, please visit us at www.itsallonthecardspodcast.com and be sure to check us out on Facebook. We now have a fan page you can join. It's All in the Cards Podcast, and Twitter at It's All in the Card. Links in the show notes. It's All in the Cards podcast may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised.